Welcome to Cyclops is Waiting for Me, an X-Men animated recap podcast with the Marvel Anime X-Men Episode 10 countdown. I had to really think about that as I was reading it.
We only have 2 episodes left of this series. I think when we shift to Wolverine, I have to redo the intro because I don't think we've gotten through this once clean in the 10 episodes now. So
that's fun. Yeah, I'm Rod, and I'm a little bit buzzed and sitting in my haunted apartment. So
yes, and I'm JC. The weekend before recording this was Free Comic Book Day. And I went to We Could Be Heroes Comics in Chatsworth, and Matthew, a.k.a. Magneto, was there. And I did get him to sign my
nice
helmet. So Matthew's signature right here. And then on the other side, I did get the Have No Fear quote from Leech's untimely demise on the other side. But
I thought you were going to say you had him... I thought you were going to say you had him sign the other side, like, so horny.
No. No, Rod. But yeah, so that'll be up on the shelf. It's very hard to see back there, so... Yep, wanted to do that. Also, we know that for Season 2, the Cyclops visor is coming out, so I need to sacrifice one of the shelves back there to be where the Cyclops visor is going to live. And then finally, something I didn't realize, Matthew's wife, Rachel, is actually the voice of Cable's computer in the Remember It episode. I did not know
that's amazing.
That.
I didn't know either. That's fun.
Yeah, knowing Matthew, I knew his wife was a voice actor as well. Didn't know that she was also in that same super traumatic episode. So,
one big traumatic family.
Exactly. Cyclops is Waiting for Me is our podcast series where we are going back and watching every single X-Men animated episode that we can find. This podcast started with the original 1992 X-Men the Animated Series, building up to the release of X-Men 97. And along the way, we completed X-Men Evolution, Wolverine and the X-Men, launched our companion interview show, the Xavier Files, and pending that the next recording session we have goes well, we will be debuting a new format. I have faith in us, Rod.
Yeah, sure. It's more of like this life, like life being a mess is more than anything else.
Yeah, it's fine. As long as our, country doesn't blow up in the next few weeks, we'll be fine.
Oh, I mean, that's too. I was just saying, like, I'm in a phase of my life where I was forced to start a new company, so that was kind of fun. So I'm navigating that.
And I have a corporate job. Season 2 of X-Men 97 is supposedly coming this upcoming summer, but until then, we are diving in for at least the next couple of weeks into the last few episodes of Marvel's anime X-Men for my very first time. Rod Sickle.
My first time, too. My first time, yeah. Some quick reminders. We're a recap show about a series that started over 15 years ago. There will be spoilers. If you don't want spoiled for you, pause the podcast, watch the episode, whether that's DVD or some other creative place. We're currently not sponsored by or affiliated with Marvel Animation, Disney, or Disney Plus in any way. I was going to say, like, the DVD thing I think is great. I don't think it's just me because I talked to other friends about this. Like, I've been in the kick ever since last Christmas of like buying DVDs and VHSs, a little bit out of collection because I moved into a new place, so I have like some decoration. You can't see it, but around the corner where my TV is, there's like the VHSs aren't just like normal side by side; they're just kind of like cascaded on a shelf and stuff. But also, it's just kind of nice to put a DVD in, and besides the very beginning, like little trailers and stuff, you kind of watch uninterrupted, and there's like not a bunch of stuff or streaming and
drag racing.
Yep. And I don't know, it's just nice, and it's especially with VHS. I watched the original Batman trilogy on VHS over the holidays last Christmas. And it was a lot of fun. I ordered Pizza Hut. I know you're not a fan, but like for like VHS and Pizza Hut, it was like a 90s, sleepover for me. And and that was even better because you could fast forward through the opening trailer stuff. And then the movie's just happening, and my VCR doesn't have a remote because I got it, secondhand. And so it was kind of like, oh, the movie's just happening now. So like, I'm just kind of like
And especially without having the remote, it's like, oh, I have to physically get up to pause this thing. No, look at that.
And it was just nice. I'm like intentionally watching something. So I know I encourage the DVD. I have the DVD, so I know there's a legal version out there. And maybe that's something we'll get into after, if we have more time between this and the 97 series. Is there's like, I think I said like an hour of extras. Like there's like featurette and like a couple.
I'm gonna have to come to your house to watch the extras, because where I'm getting access does not have those extras. So yeah.
I could probably just send them to you, because like when I say I'm watching for those specific DVDs, I rip them for backup, because like DVD rot is like, I'm kind of paranoid about that, because all these DVDs are like coming close to like 20 years old now. So like, and the special features are like pretty small files, you know, like they're pretty short and stuff, and I feel like less bad about those than like actual episodes and stuff. But there's just like a few little things.
I also, like, I'm not advocating privacy, but I will say, I feel like if there is no legal way to attain it, meaning I can't go on Amazon and buy it as, like, even a rental on Amazon, there's no service that legally allows me to watch something or play something, it gets really hard to defend the whole, like, don't pirate it thing. So, yeah. I will also, since I did mention We Could Be Heroes comics, and you went off on your physical media kick, they have, the way that store is set up is really, really interesting, because you have like a traditional comic book store, you have people who focus on tabletop card games, and it's like a shared vendor space, and then they have one room that is all like retro VHS and DVD and stuff like that in there. That is where, if you look back on our Instagram feed, I did share when I got the physical VHS of Pride of the X-Men. It was in that little VHS DVD offshoot store at We Could Be Heroes Comics. So
I'll have to check that out. I've been there before, but I wasn't in my VHS kick at that time. My go-to store right now is Be Kind in North Hollywood, because like I think his name is Matt. Somebody else might know, might correct me on that. But he's really good about making sure that the VHSs that are in there don't have mold in them, which is kind of easy to miss. So I just like to be able to shop and just know I'm not gonna like regret, have to return or like deal something weird. It's like they're pretty clean tapes, and he puts the labels, the pricing labels, on the plastic part of the tape that's easy to get off of, and not on the box.
We respect a collector. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Cyclops IWFM Pod. By the time this episode goes out, I'm literally going to schedule all of the remaining X-Men 97 card openings.
So, nice.
And then the last thing before Rod gets into his spiel of starting the show, I did the unboxing of the Marvel Oreos. I did buy the Doom Oreos, and they're the worst ones because the color change, you can't see it because it's a fucking dark brown cream. So them color changing to green just makes the milk fucking green. It doesn't actually change the color on the cream. It's stupid, and I feel let down.
So you think they're bad because the color changing is bad? Does it taste bad?
It tastes about the fucking same. So there's like the main Oreo, and then anytime they do like a different cream, like the texture of the cream changes for the other flavors, that happened. But it's like, it's whatever. It's still like an offshoot chocolate and cream scenario. So
I think my favorite one so far, the weird ones, was the Post Malone ones, because
I did not have those.
It was a pretty, like, it was a different flavor, but it was like a plausible, like, you would eat this. Like, I would eat sleeves of that, Some of them, like, there were the Sour Patch ones, the Sour Patch Kid ones. I was like, that was a fun, I bought like a mini sleeve to bring to a party once, and I had one at a novelty. I was like, I didn't spit it out, but I was like, okay, now I know what that tastes like, and I never need to have this again. But like the Post Malone, I think even the Selena Gomez ones were kind of like, oh, these are nice. I think, was hers cinnamon or something? But you and
I are from different universes.
The X-Men and the Doom ones, I like, some people who know me, I have intolerances to most food colorings. And so I was like, I'm pretty sure the color changing ones are probably even further down the list of tolerances for my biology.
That's
but
true.
I assumed that they were terrible because I really hadn't heard people talk about it more than like the initial release when they were the novelty. But then I feel like the last few times I've been to Ralph's, they've been half off. So like, and the full shelf, like almost like they're untouched. So
yes, I think I was in like CVS or something. I looked over and it was just like the full like stack of bags of the Oreos. I was like, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
But I also needed chocolate in my life, so I dealt with it.
Yeah. And now to the show. Today we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 10, titled Countdown. It aired originally on June 10th, 2011 in Japan under the title Truth. In the U.S., it would air on December 23rd. Oh, people watch this for Christmas. 2011. It currently sits at
love that means that unless the last two episodes happened on the same night, that this crossed over in the finale into the new year for no real reason. Like, you couldn't just figure out that scheduling. So
yeah. That is a weird...
But yeah, this was Christmas Eve, yes.
I guess this was, like, not a major show at the time, but, like, normally, you know, for anybody that... Well, I guess this is a little bit late. This is in 2011. But, like, in the 90s and early 2000s, like, shows would often take breaks over the holidays and summers, right? Just because, like, they just know people are, like, doing other stuff. But I don't know. I guess this one...
I guess if you're the Toonami audience, they just assume you don't have family.
Yeah. You're alone.
You're not going to miss a single fucking episode of this.
It currently is the same audience as watching a binge drop of What If on Disney Plus. That was me, by the way.
Also, Spider-Man Noir, according to IMDb, when I looked it up last, is all episodes at the same day.
I guess that tracks.
I don't know if that is still accurate at the time of this going live, but like I'm like very anal retentive about like knowing when episodes of a show I want come out, so I throw it in a planner. And I was like making the thing in the planner and I was like, oh, it's every episode on the same date. That's a choice.
I forget if I talked about this on camera or if we just talked separate, like off camera, but when I was in the theaters for the Stranger Things series finale, right? And the theater I happened to be in was the one that the Duffer Brothers showed up at. And they told a story there during the Q&A about how one of the reasons the show got like the backing it did from Netflix was because that show originally binge dropped like all at once because, you know, at the time, like, that's what Netflix was doing for everything, but specifically for that show, they like nobody knows what this is. You know, Netflix was able to see that most people were like landing on the show, watching the first episode, and then kept going. And so it kind of made me. I don't know this from outside just observation, but like I mentioned to you at some point, that makes me wonder whenever there's like a weird show coming out or something that's kind of like, you know, a character from Marvel that's like not as mainstream or something. Do they do binge drops maybe more for data than for marketing stuff? You know, like if they drop a show and they find out and they see in the back end Disney Plus. No, this one's Amazon.
That one's Amazon.
Spider Noir is Amazon.
Spider-Man's Amazon.
So maybe like Amazon sees like, oh, people tuned into the show and then like binged 50 to 60% of the way through or all of it or something, you know. And I don't know, like,
well, like at the time of recording, Daredevil ended just the other day, but from what I understand is episode 1 did very well, and then they see a dramatic drop off from it. So like all the Snyder bros who have nothing else to do with their lives are like, see, this show is failing. But then within the Disney ecosystem, there is the group of people, my family included, like my mom is this person, where she's not worrying about watching it week to week. She'll just wait until like it's over. She will ask me, is it good? And then when I say yes, then she'll binge it over like a 3 or 4 day window. So
yeah. And you know, Daredevil season Born Again season 2, no spoilers, but like I personally felt like the last episode was what I wanted from the rest of the that season. But you know, to each other. But it doesn't even matter.
There's a lot of murder in that episode. Like without spoiling who does it, there's a lot of murder in that episode.
But also just like the visuals and the storytelling and stuff, it had like the energy I wanted. But also, what was I going to say? I lost it, but it doesn't matter. We're not talking about that show. This show, this episode...
We are an X-Men animated show, not a Daredevil show. Yeah.
It currently sits at a 7.1 star rating on IMDb. And So this one, you mentioned this in the last episode with these anime specifically. Like, there's no recap. It just after the opening credits song, it just drops right back in. So this one picks up like moments following the end of the last episode. So like Wolverine popped his claws, getting ready to fight in the last episode. This one starts with Mastermind like monologuing, like his plans and stuff, and then Marsh. Here's my notes exactly. Marsh ... shoots.
Yep.
I'm trying to be kind of polite with the way, because we've said several times. If you've been listening to this, you know what we think this looks like. And
it's
this
not
doesn't
even
help.
subtle. It's like there's nothing else that this can look like other than fucking jizz.
Yeah. So yeah, this doesn't help that. But that's about his fight. And then this might be the earliest I've ever written this. Big old fight. So like instead of waiting towards like later or halfway through the episode, it just opens up with the big, I guess, jizz fight. You know, like and you were said we're gonna talk a little bit about Rat's powers. Like he's kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, it's big old fight, like you used to say. You do get a little more of an explanation of who the inner circle is to Dr. Sasaki, where Emma's basically like they're looking to create like a new world order. And the reason why I can very easily read that note is I put the NWO logo from wrestling in my notes. And then Rat like has Wolverine and like he's bear hugging Rat, and then he just like shoots spikes out and just like impales Wolverine. Which for a show that hasn't been shy about killing people and blood, it was actually a little bit weird to me that Wolverine was not bleeding from it though. And I don't know if it's because it would have been too much blood, but like it felt weird that they chose to not let him bleed with something so violent with how he was getting stabbed.
I'm kind of currently desensitized because, like, as of recording this, I went and saw Mortal Kombat 2 again, like, an hour ago. And so, like, this specific kind of, I guess, for anybody else would be a death, happens quite frequently in that movie. Like, I feel like this episode's coming out in a couple of weeks after, right? So, like, this, if you haven't seen the movie yet, you didn't really want to, like, you're not worried about spoilers. And that's not even really a spoiler. There's violent fights that, but I could see that. This is one of those, like, Mortal Kombat type of, like...
Spoiler. Mortal Kombat has blood in it.
Yeah. The other spoiler, like, I think it's Sonya that says it. There's a lot of meta commentary in the movie. Mm-hmm. It's like, Carl Urban plays Johnny Cage. And so Johnny, like, he's the fish out of water in this movie. So he's like... Yeah. It's like, whoa, you can die here? And Sonya looks over, it's like, it's literally called Mortal Kombat.
That's in one of the trailers. I did see that.
Okay, so it's not a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler. No, I think it's the final trailer, because there was like a Discord quest of like, watch the trailer and get like, customize your profile currency.
Oh, nice.
I watched it like last night, so yes.
Nice. It's a fun movie. I guess that was another. There's a lot of. If you haven't seen it by now and you need a little sell, it's definitely like a fan movie. And like I know most people say that's bad, but if you're a fan, it's great because there's a point where Johnny Cage meets Baraka for the first time, and hardcore fans know that Baraka's original like face design was because Ed Boon and his team went to a Halloween store and got a mask and put like aluminum foil on it. That's Baraka's original face. And so like when Johnny Cage first meets Baraka in this movie, I think it was Johnny Cage. He calls him like some Spirit Halloween motherfucker or something. So I was like, oh, that's a great reference.
Was Spirit even around when that came out? We're diverting. X-Men.
Yeah. I don't think I don't know if it was, but I think it was just like because this movie takes place in the modern time, so I think that was his reference to the thing. So after Rat impales Wolverine, we cut back to the assistants that were in the med bay recovering, and they kind of wake up and they
Rico and Koichi. Yes.
Yeah. Then they were like, oh, what's going on? And then before they can kind of like come to their senses, they just hear the fighting coming from like down the hall. Mm-hmm. Then we follow up with Xavier. He's still in what I call the rift. I think you called like Red Hell.
Red Hell
and he's
and
fighting
Horizon. Yep.
He's fighting the other being, who I at that point was still kind of thinking was Legion. I really thought that was going to be the reveal. Spoilers, not Legion. It's not that.
It's not Legion.
And that's also mostly because I saw the Legion.
But it's like the big weird eyes in the sky too.
But I thought mostly that because I watched half of the Legion Fox series, and so I just kind of had that visual in my head. So he's still fighting the other being. We cut back to the main fight, and my note just says Storm fries Rat.
Real quick before we get back to Storm cooking Rat, he starts to give up, and then he's like, "No, my students wouldn't be okay with this. I need to keep fighting." And then he's like, he tries to keep it going. I was like, it's so fucking corny. There's no way the original. That was something with localization, because there's no way that like Professor X would ever do that.
Yeah. Well, he pushes through. Spoiler.
Yeah.
And then.
But yeah, so back to Rat and Wolverine fighting, where Storm. I put Storm does a double murder, and then Wolverine drops Rat and instantly heals. But for like a power perspective, like you were saying, it's like Sonic the Hedgehog. He just turns into like this ball of spikes that just starts bouncing all over the place, and then could just shoot random spikes after the fact too.
Yeah.
So.
And you thought you guess he died too, right? Because I pretty soon after this, I think like was it Wolverine says like you can cross him off your to-do list or something. I was like, that's code for he died, right? Like,
yeah.
So
this show is not shy about killing characters, so like it's entirely likely that he died from my perspective.
Yeah. And then somehow Marsh gets away. I don't think we actually see how. He's just not there anymore, and they make a comment about it. And
it's like everybody's surrounding Dr. Sasaki, and then like he just like Marsh just kind of fucks off essentially.
Yeah, and then the assistants catch up and basically just kind of literally just catch up, both in person but also like of what's happening. And
there is so much recap to this episode of what has happened throughout this like
like because every time people join,
did you forget episode? Yeah,
and every time people join it, like they mention it and stuff. Logan wants to go
everything that Jason says to Emma later, or everything Jason says to everybody, he said to Emma in the previous episode.
Yeah. And
so she's just
Logan,
like, another fucking straight white man who won't shut the fuck up.
And then Logan wants to go into the room, but Beast points out the big machine they're standing in front of. And he asks the doctor if she wants to explain or if he can just do it. So he just explains, like, this machine somehow blocks the X gene from being scanned. They don't really take it further than that. Just
it's fine.
Big machine.
It's anti-Cerebro, basically. It's whatever Cerebro's good at. This is like just it's a giant interference like scenario. So,
and I'll just mention it here, but it happens multiple times through the episode where one of the X-Men looks back at the doctor and her assistants and be like, "And you knew about this."
Yes.
Shame on you. It happened first here, but then happens multiple more times throughout the episode. Every time something bad gets brought up.
What's funny is like they do this whole like there's a reveal of a thing and like, did you know about this? And then one of the reveals that we all know about at this point is that Dr. Sasaki reveals that it's her kid that's in there, and it's Xavier's kid. And the way that the wiki is written, it says in the English version, the assistants don't know XYZ, but they don't actually specify that in the Japanese version that what they did know. It's like, okay, you're telling me half of that sentence and I can infer the rest of it. But this is when it's like, oh yeah, fan wikis are written by people who are not necessarily like the best writers, you know?
Yeah. And then Emma explains that Mastermind has found the source of the mutant uptick in that region, and it's behind those doors. I'm going to be honest, even after we find out what this is, I don't still completely understand that's what, but it's whatever. then they get in there, and it's Logan. Before they go in there, Logan wants to stabby stab. He's like, whatever's behind there, I'm going to kill it. And then they go in, and it's a boy in a jar, essentially.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, this is X's son.
But it also was like a weird danger room setup, because like around him it looked like it was like outside with the sky, like I guess to keep him calm and less murdery.
And this gets confusing for me later in an edit, but I'll mention it then. But then Beast figured out that the U-Men worked for the Doctor. Yes. Because of them having like the mini Cerebro thing. She was like, why would they have that? So he puts that all together, and they work for the Doctor, and that she was the one commissioning the harvesting of mutant organs. And Wolverine takes personal offense to that because he's lost organs.
Which I think may be the spoiler for the Wolverine anime, that there's something that happens in that, which is where he has an encounter with the human. But we watched these out of order because Rod did not have a DVD of the Wolverine anime. So.
I did, yeah. Also, like, I don't hate Wolverine. He's just not like a priority to me because, like, growing up, he was my brother's favorite. Like a lot of kids' favorite and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I can take Wolverine or leave it. And
Wolverine now just wants to stab everybody.
Yeah. And then Emma makes a super shady comment about Dr. Sasaki and Xavier fucking.
It's super shade thrown.
I love it.
Yeah, because she tries to do the, like, you guys were, like, really close, right? Yeah. And it's like, it's obvious, so obvious what that means. And that is where everybody just, like, dog piles onto her, too. Because they're like... Yeah, like, why wouldn't you do that? Why would you protect your kid? Like, why wouldn't you go ask Xavier for help? And that's where she does drop the reveal that it's like, oh, well, the kid is actually his. And then they dogpile on top of her for that one, for not telling him. Which kind of makes me love the episode with stuff like that. So, yeah.
So they start approaching the door. Armor looks down at the scar in her hand that they pointed out, I think, like 2 episodes ago.
And that it was like a burn, bruise, or something like that. And it keeps like pulsing. Yeah.
She mentions that the closer they get to the door, the more it hurts, which once again, I'm still confused about, but I guess that's going to be like the last 2 episodes explanation.
Yeah, we don't get that explanation here.
And Mastermind is already in there. I think I just lost track of him because how fragmented I watched this episode.
No, the cutting was weird. I actually wrote down that, like, they had the scene in front, the fight breaks out, he's not shown, and then they don't, like, walk through the door, they just literally are in the big room. And then they're, like, in this room, too. Yeah, their transition shots did not exist. That's not a you thing. That's a structural thing.
Because... For some reason you listened to these episodes out of order. Like the last episode I mentioned, like I watched this in the last episode, fragmented in like 3-minute increments, being interrupted by utilities people. And so like I was like, I didn't miss something here. But yeah, but Mastermind's already in there.
I thought I did, and I rewound it, watched it again. I was like, no, this is what happened.
So Mastermind is already in there with the kid, and the X-Men catch up. Reveals that it's Xavier and Sasaki's kid. And then Mastermind also reveals that the U-Men worked for him as well as Sasaki, and it was kind of like I don't even know what you call this. It's not a double agent thing. It's like he did the reverse. Like he like tricked someone else with their own bigotry to work for multiple things in his favor.
Yes. Because he said that it's not double agent, but it's also convoluted because, like I said, in the Japanese version, they knew who they were working with, as opposed to the American one where it's like he brainwashed them into believing that he was just a normal human. So
yeah, and he said that he would just like follow Sasaki like wherever she went, and then he would like get to have organs from mutant organs as well. And then in his monologue there, he talks about how Takeo, I think is the kid's name, is the first Omega level mutant since Jean Grey's death, and he's the key to like mutant domination. And okay, so this is part of what I was getting confused. He says that they were breaking his mind down. Did they say with monster or monstar? Like, they were breaking his mind down, and then I thought they said monster, but I couldn't quite understand that last word. I don't have captions for this version of the show.
I was gonna say, do you not have captions on it? Because like, I have Mastermind breaking down mine, and then Neuron arrives. So,
yeah, the Neuron arrives, and I thought that Neuron was going to say he's a monster, but then it gets extra confusing because he says my name is Neuron or something, and then like Storm says that's a monster. I'm like, I'm so confused. I could have sworn he just said that a monster broke his mind down, and then he's like, I'm Neuron, and then Storm's like, he's a monster. Like, okay, something. Well, the point is they broke his mind down with something.
Yeah, they were basically like breaking this kid down into like just something they could take advantage of. Neuron arrives, and there's the offhand comment of like, oh, he's the White Bishop of the Hellfire of the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
Has not been acknowledged of anybody's positioning within the Inner Circle of like what their role is. So I was like I also saw in like one of the like listings for the show, they referred to the members as the 4 pillars of the Inner Circle, which is not said anywhere in the show itself, unless that was like one of those. Yeah. It was in the original Japanese version, and we just like killed it with the localization. But I feel like them being like, he's the White Bishop. It's like, well, you haven't talked about kings or queens or bishops or anything, so sure, why the fuck not?
It's like, oh, everybody knows Emma Frost is the White Queen, right? Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah.
And then this is the part that comes back to when you're talking about the danger room and the blue skies thing. So Xavier escapes the hell thing he's in through the rift into a blue sky area.
Pause moment. You skipped the whole killing of the assistants part.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Neuron shows up. He kills both assistants immediately. And then this is the part that like confused me about the danger room thing with the blue skies. Xavier escapes the hell thing he was in, goes through the rift, and like I thought that he was going into that room by the way that cut.
Got it. Okay.
No, you know what I mean? Like
I could see what you're saying. I didn't get that impression from it.
Because it was going
it
was going so fast because like they were cutting between the scenarios, and I was like, oh, he's just going to arrive in this room.
Yeah.
To the point where I started writing that he arrived in that room in the jet. I thought it was wild, but that's not what happened. And then but
he
Neuron
does, like, as he's coming in, he's like, I think he was upside down as he was coming through it, because he was like, he was also starting to pass out from like the strain of breaking out of that red space. So,
and then Neuron mentions like, you should do what I say because like I can like activate. So I think specifically to Wolverine, your sense is like so high that it'll just like break your mind, you know, because he knows he can't really break his body.
He amplifies everything, so that's why like he basically overloaded the brains of the assistants. And I think his example was, I can make a pin drop from a mile away so loud it'll like rupture your eardrums.
Yeah, and then so he goes ahead and like tortures Beast and Wolverine. They put him like a cocoon, like hallway thing, and he doesn't kill Beast or Wolverine, but basically incapacitates them because he kind of has them as close to stun as he can, which is kind of interesting because it kind of implies that Beast and Wolverine are like similar, like pain
Ferocity
or strength, strength threshold or something. And then Mastermind eggs on Takeo and tries to get him to like release his rage, I think is what he says.
The power of his rage, and then they all start turning purple.
Yeah, and then Armor points out that her hand hurts more than ever, and did I just miss something of like them? But maybe this is the next episode thing. She's like, "Oh, my hand is really hurting."
And I've avoided spoilers on it, but there's got to be something that Takeo did to Armor that is like embedded in her, and the closer she gets, it's like, you know, we talked about like my my arthritis in my elbows from wrestling scar tissue, of like, oh yeah, it hurts when it's gonna rain. That's why I live in LA because it doesn't rain, you know.
Yeah. And then while Takeo is like raging, it shows once again for me a little bit confusing, the real world skies, but not the skies in this danger room thing.
Correct.
Are like turning colors. The waves are basically doing what like we were taught in like youth group and Bible school and stuff, that like the revelations would be like the waves weren't like washing, they were like elevating into the sky and stuff. Like everything's very apocalyptic. It cuts back.
The geysers were like, the hot springs were boiling and stuff like that too.
Yeah. And so like everything's just like the world's on fire, guys. I guess kind of the lack of better words. Yeah. So it's like very like Dark Phoenix like kind of situation. And then it cuts to Takeo screaming, once again a very Jean Grey kind of moment, and then hard cut to credits. And I guess we're gonna find out next week.
Yeah, you see Marsh has like enveloped everybody except for Cyclops. And then I believe it's Mastermind who drops the like obvious villain dialogue of, well, we're just getting started. And then I mean, I'm expecting this whole thing to just be like a big fight next episode. I think my notes are going to be like a quarter page at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be big fight. Xavier arrives, cliffhanger to the big fight, and then end of big fight. Everybody's happy. Hopefully, Dr. Sasaki dies in episode 12.
Right.
I really don't like her.
And I appreciate the symmetry of the series, like they started with the Jean Grey Dark Phoenix situation, and they're ending with the kind of Jean Grey but different person Dark Phoenix situation. But at the same time, I think it just underlines what I've said before of like, I think I'm just kind of fatigued on the Phoenix stories for a little while.
That's
because half of them, like more than like half of them were done like so poorly, and then two of them were done two of them were done great. I guess one and then like a half.
I feel like we have like 6 of them, because you have the 2 movie ones which are trash. Nobody's gonna defend those. You have like this one and like the hint of it in Evolution, which are like middling. They did amazing in 92, and then they did solid for Wolverine and the X-Men. We just, we didn't go deeper into it,
Yeah.
So
and then I guess
like, we had a great, a good, 2 mids, and 2 like I can't even ranks. So
and it's just like let's try a different story. But it's fine. It's just like I'm going to guess, since Takeo is like he's a new character, right? Like he's not something that exists
like
elsewhere.
That's the thing, is like we were kind of referencing it. It's like he's just an alternate version of what like a Legion or a Proteus is, kind of scenario. Like his power doing what it is doing does give me more Proteus vibes rather than Legion vibes, of course. So
I'm half expecting him to either just die or get depowered at the end of the series, because he's a new name, but sure, whatever. This episode was fine. It was fine. It was like it was like the last one. It was like, okay, these 2 episodes are like the bridge to the finale, and I'm hoping that the next one and the last one are like the big episodes.
I will say the fight choreo in this episode was some of the best fighting that they did between like the multiple teams and the matchups and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's cool. It's fine. It might have been stronger if these episodes were like 40 minutes long, or even half an hour, and then like did together, because I feel like the last episode and this one would have been like stronger as like a single
episode
arc.
Yeah
I know it'd be a little long, but there's a few things you can cut out of there. Like the long like still frame beast monologue.
Literally just like just here, just everything, take it twice. So I
don't know, anything else you want to add while we're wrapping up?
Not really. I'm excited to try the new format out. It'll be interesting. The only thing I will say is, if it does happen, it is not specific to only animated X-Men, so it gives us a little bit like of a bigger playground to do. And then I don't know, maybe I could convince Rod before Comic-Con, if we're like catching up on content, to do one more of the movies. Like maybe we do Deadpool and Wolverine finally to end that trilogy of the watch-alongs. So
that'd be fun. And actually would kind of be appropriate too, because didn't Ryan Reynolds just come out and say that he's pretty much done with Deadpool as a standalone?
Or
we focused
even
on
if it is a scenario where it's like him and another character, he is the number 2. Like, he is not the star of those. So,
because like there's only so many times you can hit repeat on that story. He's essentially had like Deadpool have the similar arc 3 times in a row now.
I will say the stories that I would love to see that I sadly don't think we're gonna get. One, we won't get it because nobody else will give a shit. But there was a great crossover comic that was Deadpool and Hawkeye together, which was really, really like good. It was the Matt Fraction version of Hawkeye, which is like the modern version that's inspired by the Jeremy Renner one. But then there was like, I want to say it was 50 issues that was Spider-Man and Deadpool as a crossover series. And it was great. I think it only works when Deadpool and Spider-Man are similar in age. I don't know if like college age Peter Parker and Deadpool would have that same chemistry though. So,
you know what I would like my free pitch out to, like, because I know we're like adjacent to like a lot of we say we're never sponsored by Marvel people, but we were in the circles of some of them. I don't know what it would take to get this, but I think like an easy thing that would be fairly low resources is if you just did like a Harley Quinn animated style thing with Deadpool on like Disney Plus or something. It's like an irreverent adult animation. That'd be a great like anthology series, right?
I feel like they wanted to do that with the MODOK series, and because they were doing like stop motion and stuff like that, and it was it Stupid Robot who did it? Like
I never watched that show.
It was I think it was adjacent to the Robot Chicken people who did it, and it didn't work. And it was wild because they had references like with some of the figures, like they had like classic Mr. Sinister in the like in scenes and stuff like that. I would love to see them do it with Deadpool. I'm curious what Marvel would do from an adult animation perspective.
I literally think like if they
Harley
got some
works because they just fucking let her do whatever they want, you know?
That's the thing. I think if you get like either the writers or writers like the ones that do Harley, and then like if you're like watching this or listening to this like way in the past, like in the future, we're doing this like quite a bit of time before Doomsday. Like this is like still like we're approaching the middle of 2026. Yeah. So I don't know what the post-Doomsday world's going to be like, but presuming that Marvel keeps up some semblance of a connected universe, I could easily see like if they don't want to have like almost a Daredevil, Deadpool, like be this weird wild card out in the main universe and stuff. I think it could be easy just to have him like fall into like a portal into a pocket universe or something. Have his little anime series, you know, and if they do need to pull him back into the movies for something, he just slips right back in. And then if you have the writers for Harley like do it, you know, it'd be a really cool irreverent series.
I loved what they did with the character Gwenpool in the comics because she literally can go between the panels, like in the white space.
Yeah.
And that's a part of like her like multiverse breaking capabilities. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well,
it's a little bit like similar to the vibe of when She-Hulk pulled herself through the menus of Disney Plus.
Yeah. I know that wasn't a popular thing, but I loved it. I like when things have fun, you know.
I had no problem with the fourth wall break. I still wish the fight happened, only because the dude who was like stealing the Hulk powers and stuff, I thought he was just a shitty character, and that wasn't the payoff. I liked all the Kevin stuff and everything like that, though.
Yeah. I can see that. But I thought, like, to me, like, the shows are where like, things can get weird and stuff, you know? It's like the movies, they're like a little more high stakes. So I kind of understand them, like, not bringing her back into movies and stuff, because, like, I would like to see that, but, yeah, I get it. Well, also just, if you're doing the math at the time we're recording this, she has not been very kind of her former employer, like publicly.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's like,
Anyway, so we have 2 more episodes left. We're in the home stretch now of this series, and then our new format thing, not new, an additional format. Until the 97 drops, whenever that may be.
the Wolverine anime, we have the new format, which I'm not going to say what it is until it actually works, and then we have Deadpool and Wolverine. I think between those, we're good to get to season 2 of X-Men 97. If we get through all of that before we get to X-Men 97, there's a major fucking problem.
And they binge drop it in a Christmas week or something.
Kill somebody.
Anyway, on that note,
I will absolutely make sure we never get sponsored by Disney ever again.
It's funny. I run into Jake all the time when I'm just walking around the neighborhood and he's walking his dog. So like I'd be like, hey man. So
hey, JC's pissed. You have to watch out.
He's behind that bush over there. So on that note, thanks for joining us. If you have any thoughts, make sure to drop them into the comments for either the YouTube videos, Spotify upload, or official Instagram post about this episode. If you like what you heard, we'd appreciate a rating on the podcast app you're choosing. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube Podcasts.
Are you sober
Lucy's
yet?
still... I'm kind of sober. Lucy's still high from her stress meds from the construction workers being over.
Maybe I should take those before I go on a flight next. That would help me.
So, gabapentin, what do you give pets? I guess... does something different to humans, and so that's why they're really like careful about it. Like when you get it for pets, I don't know what it is.
And then we end the episode with "The More You Know."
Yeah.